So Natlan is probably the most controversial region to release in Genshin Impact. And there are many reasons for this. But the nation's Archon, Mavuika, is a great representation of the nation's flaws. Now, I just finished her story quest the other day, and I have to say, she is probably the worst written Archon in the game. Probably one of the worst written characters in the game, actually. Now, before you drop a dislike and run into the comment section and type about how wrong I am, why don't you just take a seat? Take a seat. And let's do this thing called critical thinking, shall we? Now, Mavuika is a character that's defined by many positive traits. And there are some things I do like about her. For example, when you meet her, she just treats you like a regular person. She's just respectful to you, she's nice, she's cool. Honestly, considering she's an Archon, it is really damn refreshing. Every other Archon in the game so far has been like mysterious and godlike, because they are gods, but Mavuika, she's the first human Archon. I mean, Farina exists, but that's different. Mavuika considers herself equal with others, and she's genuinely a good leader. But this is why I have an issue with her character. There's no growth to be made here, and there's no inclination into how she became the way she is. If there's one term I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with that's the best way I can describe Mavuika, she's a Mary Sue. And for those of you who don't know what that means, she's basically flawless. Now, you could argue there are some negative traits about her. She's overconfident, she thinks her plan's perfect, perhaps even reckless. But you need conflict in order to highlight those kinds of traits. The closest thing we got to that was Capitano challenging her. But he gave up so easily, dude. Like, come on, man.
Humanity's survival is worth any price. Once the Abyss runs rampant, all that remains will be a land of corpses and ruin.
A land without the Lord of the Night, without the protection of the rules, is doomed from the start.
You presume too much. If you cannot ensure survival in the present, you have no right to think about the future. What will it take for you to realize that? How many hundreds or thousands will have to die?
It also kind of solidifies her at being such an amazing person. It solidifies her traits that she has, her perfect Mary Sue traits. When even someone as strong-willed as Capitano just gives up. Just okay, we'll do what you want to do then, Mavuika.
But what are you really trying to protect? The land or its people?
Fine.
It's kind of concerning, honestly. Mavuika is strong, she's kind, she's smart, she's everything. And she's a really capable leader. Like, what can't she do? Now, some of you may be thinking, Gamma, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with her being awesome and just perfect? And let me tell you why. It's because they are traits that lack substance. That's what Mavuika is. She's all flair, but no substance. So, why is she written like this? Past Archons were written with so much depth and sentimental value. Why is she different? So take a seat, students, and let me teach you a lesson in character writing. Now, if you look here, we have static and dynamic characters, the two key foundations for writing a character. Now, dynamic characters are ones that change throughout the story, so like Harry Potter, Farina, Tony Stark, Iron Man. And on the other hand, we have static characters, in which they do not evolve throughout the story. They are a set personality. Instead of being influenced by the world instead reacts to their existence. Now, Mavuika is the definition of a static character. But does that make her a well-written one? No. And the reason for that is because a lot of her traits have to be earned. She is charismatic, flawless, strong, and executes her plan to perfection. You can't just slap these onto a character and be like, cool, done, she's good, I like her. No, that's not how this works, okay? These are things that we want to see people earn. Let me give you an example. Look at Tony Stark from Marvel. Iron Man. He literally evolves from being a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist, who's also really selfish, into someone who literally sacrifices themselves for half of existence, the entire universe. Tony Stark learned humility and how to be selfless, and that's why everyone loves this character. He is the definition of a dynamic character. Now, when it comes to static characters, a great example I can think of is Monkey D. Luffy and Sherlock Holmes. They don't really change as characters, but it's their existence themselves that makes them interesting. Now, Monkey D. Luffy, he's awesome, he's also an airhead, he's kind of stupid, but he's very emotionally intelligent. He knows when someone is in pain and he knows when to help. So he acts based on emotion, basically. He can be incredibly heroic, but he can also be a reckless asshole. But that's what makes him interesting, right? But we like these characters for who they are and how they do things, not for how they develop. So let's look at Mavuika. She's super strong. Yes, she's super kind, super smart, a great leader. But how did she become these things? How on earth did she become an Archon? This is lore stuff that we should be learning. Don't you agree? Like, wouldn't you like to know how she became an Archon? I sure would. In the story, it's basically, oh, you just a really strong human, you win the pilgrimage, and you just become, like, cool. There's gotta be more depth to that, right? But it just bothers me how you can have a character with traits like these, but not expand on them whatsoever in the story. Her story quest doesn't even approach this idea. At all.
You kinda enjoy messing with people, don't you?
Really? I never noticed.
We don't see anything regarding her past except for these weird flashback things which don't really account to anything. We do get sentimental scenes of her, like her sacrificing all her items to save us from the underworld. And there's also that scene with her reuniting with her dead sister. You think Mavuika would be a bit more, I don't know, emotional when reuniting with her long-lost dead sister? From 500 years ago. You threw your life away, but no, you gotta be strong and stoic. Like, sure, I get it, she's gotta be a strong leader, she's gotta be this way for her people, but goddamn, have a moment of weakness that makes her relatable. Even Neuvillette in Fontaine's Archon Quest got emotional when Focalors died, when she killed herself. Feel the pain and sorrow in his voice when he witnesses that. Now, Mavuika does show a hint of weakness in her animated shorts. It would have been really nice to expand on this a bit more, you know? Like, what was it like suffering through 500 years of just waiting? Expand on that, tell us about it.
I feel lost, but this is the only road there is.
It would have been so good to see a more human side of her, because that's what she is. Maybe. That's what Hoyo is trying to advertise her as being, the human Archon. But ironically, she is the least human out of all the Archons. They really try to portray her as being selfless and strong and being such a great leader, but it just feels so damn forced, you know? Like, look at our other Archons, for example. Look at our favourite little cabbage. This poor little shuttlecock was literally trapped for 500 years. In a cage, pretty much. And because of this, we get to first-handedly see her grow into her role as an Archon. Despite being the god of wisdom, she's still inexperienced. She still tries to understand people, and we see that firsthand.
Get some good rest. You know, use the bathroom and flush your anxiety dookie away. People always say they feel a sense of relief after they take a duk-duk. That's why I suggested you could try that. Is that so strange?
She thinks taking a shit is relieving ourselves. hey, she's trying. She's a little confused, but she's got spirit. Even everyone's favorite Geodad Zhongli is...
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
Really? Now?
But where are those who share the...
Even Zhongli is shown to have a human side to him, despite living for so damn long. My man has lived for what, like 6,000 years? So many of his loved ones in the past have passed away. They're dead. He reminisces about them all the time. What else can he do? And hey, if you want an even better example, look at Furina. Everyone loves Furina, and you want to know why? Because she's a well-written character. She was a human who was cursed with immortality by her creator, her other half, Focalors. She had to fake being a god for 500 years. Oh, and guess what? When her plan nearly fails, she actually breaks down like a normal person would. Get this, Furina actually cries. 500 years of suffering down the drain, all for nothing because she thought that she failed. Hey, imagine how you'd feel, 500 years of your save file just getting deleted. Hey, I'd cry too. Someone delete my freaking RuneScape account? Dude, I'd cry too, man. It's like 2,000 hours I spent on that shit. Took ages to get 95 farming, man, come on. They do a great job at showing the human side of Furina. This is why she's adored by everyone. Literally everyone loves Furina. You will see a poll of everyone's favorite Archon. It's usually always Furina in the #1 spot. And that's the thing, right? She's a well-written character. And that's the thing with Mavuika, right? She's like Farina, she's human, but she's perfect. An entire story quest about a frickin' Archon, and we get no lore about her, no backstory about her whatsoever. It's just her interacting with NPCs and other characters. Oh, Mavuika, you're such a goober. Oh, she likes to make fun of people sometimes. She's just like you, right?
You kinda enjoy messing with people, don't you?
Really? I never noticed.
It's actually unbearable, dude. That's the thing, right? So much of Mavuika just makes no sense. Also, what's the deal with her bike? This is kinda stupid, let's be real. This doesn't make sense at all. Okay, for some reason Shilonen made it. I don't know how she made that, but that just, okay, cool. See, when it comes to tech in Teyvat, usually there's like a fantasy vibe to it, right? Because Teyvat's a magical world. You have stones that give you superpowers. So the tech having some kind of fantasy vibe to them, it just makes sense. You can understand it. You can grasp a ruin guard existing in Teyvat, right? It's just like, okay, yeah, I can get that. Those sentry robot things in Fontaine that work off of like arc power or something, sure, cool, yeah, I can get that. But this bike? This has been ripped straight out of the real world. It's like vroom vroom motor shit, like this is stupid. The only good thing about Mavuika's story quest is her battle with Shibalanki, that entire scene. But that's it. It's just a good action scene, okay? Do you know what frustrates me? Even after the battle, Shibalanki just praises her to high hell and back.
Take, for example, your strength. It is at once ruthless and gentle, both tenacious and sharp. You neither overwhelm your opponent with sheer power, nor defy them with only your strength of will. You possess a great understanding of your own might, and will convert all of it into fuel, so you may climb to even greater heights.
Like, bro, no, come on. Are you telling me we did her entire story quest and we didn't even delve into what she was like 500 years ago? How did she become so damn strong? How did she become freaking Archon? What about her made her become such a damn good leader? Wouldn't that be nice to know? The overall Natlan Archon quest just fails to explain how becoming an Archon works as well. Apparently it's just you be really strong. Like, no, there should be more to that, right? None of these really important questions get answered, when they really should. We ultimately don't know why Mavuika is the way she is. And that's the biggest issue here. She's a static character with traits that should be developed. It's perfectly fine to like someone who's flawless, okay? I get that. They're a cool character, they're just awesome. Okay, nice. But they need substance to that man. They really do, or they just become all flair and no substance. Just like what I said earlier. If we learned more about her past, more about how she became the person she is today, then maybe she'll be a more interesting and likable character. Like, I still can't get over how bad Mavuika's story quest is. It's so bad. There's no substance to it whatsoever. It has nothing to do with her. She's just there. She's just hanging out with people. Like, sure, cool, hanging out with an Archon's fine and all, but at least with Raiden Shogun, it kind of develops a character a bit, right? Raiden was trapped in her room. Well, not trapped, she, chose to be in her room. She basically locked herself up in her room for 500 years because she was sad about losing her sister and her friends. So when she comes out, she's got to adjust a bit, it makes sense. And that's the thing, right? Raiden's first Archon quest leads perfectly into her second one. So I really hope Mavuika's getting a second story quest that just makes her much more interesting. Please do that. Do you remember Zhongli's first story quest about the salt god Havria? You want to know why that quest was so good? It was so good because of two main things. We got lore about the previous gods of Teyvat, and character development for frickin' Zhongli. We see how stubborn he is when it comes to contracts. There's even a moment where even if you imply breaking a contract, he frickin' threatens to kill you, basically. Like, my guy's gonna drop a rock on you if you break your contract, okay?
Let's not forget who hired who here. Why should I let you make the rules?
Because you agreed to a contract. Rex Lapis once said, "Ones who break their contracts shall suffer the wrath of the rock."
That is one of your Liyue gods. I am from Snezhnaya. I
will suffer the wrath of the rock. You may find it rather unpleasant.
That's how serious he is about this. That is character depth. You want to know why? Because that's who Zhongli is. That's how he evolved to become. We can see why he's like that. Hey Traveler, we're taking the war pilgrimage into the Olympics now. Isn't that cool? Isn't this fine and dandy? Why can't we learn about how she became super strong? Why can't it be like Thor's first movie where he had to learn humility in order to become worthy? They could have dialed up her stubbornness to like 11. Heck, they could have written her just like Thor from Marvel and that would be fine. Make her realize that fighting for others is more important than fighting for herself. Make her seem more, I don't know, human, you know? I don't know anything at this point. And guys, listen, the thing is, right? I actually did Neuvillette's story quest right before doing Mavuika's. It is actually night and day how different they are. Neuvillette's story quest is peak. It is written so damn well. And you want to know why? Because Neuvillette is a great character. He's a well-written character. Look at that! Now, Neuvillette is inherently a flawed character. He doubts himself constantly. He thinks he doesn't understand his own and human emotion. Despite knowingly being the Hydra Dragon, he wants to know why he was born as a human. He even considers himself an outsider. Yet despite that, despite people trying to usurp him as Udex, he still strives to do his job well. Even when his friends are on trial, even when people he cares about are on trial for something wrong, he passes fair judgment. And that is respectful. That's how you gain respect. And lo and behold, this is shown in the story quest. Because over time, people of Fontaine start to trust him. They trust his judgment. This also results in the people of Fontaine accepting Melusines, because Neuvillette is the one that brought them to Fontaine. It's kind of like, oh, if Neuvillette says it's okay, then it must be fine, right? Because we trust Neuvillette now. And Neuvillette doesn't even realize this until he talks to Wriothesley. Wriothesley has to literally say it to his face.
For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time, regardless of whatever nonsense went on. People no longer have any reservations about you and even consider you a symbol of the law. Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words, you've gradually transformed the whole nation.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, I have simply been fulfilling my duties. It is unnecessary to hold me in such high regard. The complexity of human emotions and willpower far exceed those of mine. As a matter of fact, I believe that you are the ones who deserve my respect.
You're no longer that outsider you were before. Even if you wished to investigate something on your own, many would take the initiative to lend you a hand.
And you want to know why? You want to know why this was necessary? Because Neuvillette has self-doubts. Self-doubt about his role, self-doubt about his purpose. Now that is great writing, and it perfectly depicts the depth of his character. Such a good quest, dude. Oh, and what about Mavuika? Oh, she likes to tease people sometimes.
Really? I never noticed.
Yeah, that's it.
You kinda enjoy messing with people, don't you?
Oh, cool. Thanks for pointing that out, Paimon. I sure couldn't figure that out for myself. Yeah, thanks. She is easily one of the worst, if not the worst written character in all of Genshin Impact. And it's because she's an Archon. She's a significant character that should have depth, but there's just nothing there. How do we go from characters like Zhongli, Nahida, Navia, Farina, Neuvillette, fucking Arataki Ito? Ito has more depth than her! How do we go from these well-written, in-depth characters to this? Natlan overall has just been just a mess, honestly. I can understand writing a static character, but not like this. But either way, guys, I digress at this point. I give up. I really hope they fix this character. I really hope we get an amazing Act 2 of her story quest. Give us some backstory. Tell us about her. Make her a flawed human being when she's like, I don't know, a teenager or something, and she has to grow into her role of being an Archon. Because she really needs it. She really does. Because this is just not good enough. I'm so moldy about Natlan and his character, bro, seriously. Okay, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna go back to Fontaine. Maybe do Emily's quest or something, I don't know. Okie dokie then, all done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the first time that I used a green screen for one of my videos, and it was a lot of fun making this. I had a great time. Now, would you guys like more of this kind of video? Because this is something that I've always wanted to do. I love to make discussion and like analysis videos of any kind of games, really. But also let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with my takes or do you disagree with my takes? Get that discussion rolling, you know, because that's the funnest part of these kind of videos, just talking about things. And I know I was kind of harsh in this video, but you've got to be critical of the things you're passionate about, you know? You can't just blindly accept everything. But either way, please share this video around if you know people who would enjoy it. Get that discussion snowball rolling, you know? I want to see what you guys think. Please remember to make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I worked really hard on this video, I would love to make more stuff like this, and I'd appreciate all of the support. But yeah, feel free to give me ideas of what videos I should make in the future like this. Now these videos do take quite a while to make. This took me like nearly a month of planning, like starting from like scripting to finish. So don't expect them every week. And I will still make videos like I regularly do in the meantime, like reaction videos and just talking in front of the camera like this. But either ways, I digress, I'll let you guys go. Thank you all so much for watching, and as usual, I'll see you all in the next one.